So where are you applying to college? If you're a high school junior or senior, you've probably already had to answer this question countless times. With almost 4,000 colleges to choose from in the United States alone, you have a pretty big decision to make, and it can be easy to feel overwhelmed. That said, just winging it probably isn't your best option. Although drafting a school list takes time, it's worth the effort. Building a balanced school list of an appropriate length will help you best utilize your time and energy and ensure that you have decent options when application season comes to a close. Hi, I'm Elias, and today we'll be breaking down how to put together the college list that will make your admissions journey as smooth and efficient as possible. In today's video, we'll cover some of the main considerations around picking a college and then walk through crafting a good mix of safety, target, and reach schools. What should you be thinking about when you start your college search? While you may be tempted to start from a ranking list, we at CollegeVine suggest you begin by getting a clear idea of what you actually want in a school. Attending an extremely elite private school is not going to be particularly productive if it doesn't offer you the kinds of opportunities you want, or if you're unhappy there. This is why we talk about a 5-piece fit framework here at CollegeVine. What are the 5 pieces? Well, we've got academic experience, campus opportunities, location and environment, cost of attendance, and return on investment. Let's start with academic experience. This includes the majors, minors, and certificate programs offered. It also includes the classes, how large they are, and who's teaching them. If you don't mind large class sizes and you want a lot of programs and courses to choose from, then a big school might be the place for you. A small school, meanwhile, might be better if you prefer smaller classes and if you want to know your professors on a more personal level. Next up is campus opportunities. This consists of things like research opportunities, potential internships, and extracurricular activities. In short, it's the stuff you do outside of class. You'll want to pick a school that offers you not just the classes you want to take, but also the clubs you hope to join. Location and environment, meanwhile, has more to do with the school's culture. Think school spirit, values, student body diversity. Are you hoping to cheer for your school's team in a packed stadium every Saturday? Would you like a school where fraternities and sororities are essential parts of social life? Do you want to attend a school with a religious affiliation? And of course, you'll want to make sure your schools are located where you'd want to live for 4 years. Maybe you hate the cold, or maybe you can't live without snow. Maybe you want to attend a school in a big city, or maybe you want to stay close to home. These considerations might sound trivial, but they will almost certainly play a large role in determining whether you like your school. It'll be much harder to do well academically if you're not happy where you live. Cost of attendance is something you'll have to estimate. It includes not only the cost of tuition or the sticker price, but also the combined costs of food, housing, textbooks, and other miscellaneous expenses. Financial aid and other scholarships can help with this, but they vary based on your circumstances and on the school itself. We'd recommend checking your school's website for financial aid calculators to see how much you can expect to receive in aid at a given school. Finally, there's return on investment, which is something you can figure out with some brief Google searches and a calculator. This is basically how the cost of attendance, which you've just calculated, stacks up against the average salaries of a school's alumni. While salaries will vary by major and by program, the overall numbers can still help you get a sense of whether or not attending a given school will be a good investment. Remember though, ROI is just an expectation. Loans are a certainty. If you take them out, you will need to pay them back. Regardless of expected return on investment, no one graduates from school and says, "Wow, I'm so glad I have all these loans." And those are the 5 pieces to consider. Now that we've covered important factors for narrowing down schools, you're probably wondering how long your school list should be and what types of schools to include. Think of it this way. There are 3 types of schools: safeties, targets, and reaches. These terms don't signify how competitive a school is overall, rather they reference how difficult it would be for you specifically to get in. In order to maximize your chances of acceptance across the board, you'll want to build a school list that includes schools from all 3 categories. Since this will look different for every student, you should definitely check out our chancing engine on collegevine.com to see your chances of acceptance at each of the schools you're considering. Let's break down what each type of school means for you. First, we have our safety schools. A safety is a college at which you're much more likely than not to get in. They are, in other words, a safe bet. At College Vine, our rule of thumb is that you should have at least a 75% chance of getting into a school for it to be considered a safety. We recommend always having at least 2 safeties on your school list. This way, even if you get very unlucky with your target and reach schools, you'll essentially always have a fallback option. Even with your safety schools, it's extremely important to choose colleges you would still be happy to attend. You'll want to identify schools that offer a few programs and extracurriculars you really like. Bonus points if the school is in a location you love. If you want to learn more, we have an entire YouTube video dedicated to safety schools that you can check out here. Next up are your target schools. These are colleges where your chances of acceptance range from 25 to 75%. In other words, schools at which you'll be a competitive applicant. In most cases, your ACT or SAT scores represent a decent, if rough, determinant of whether or not the school is a target for you. Just look up the middle 50% of accepted students' test scores at a given school and see if your scores fall within that range. Of course, our chancing engine can also help you here whether or not you've taken any standardized tests. We recommend having at least 4 target schools on your list. And finally, there are reaches. Reaches are colleges at which you have less than a 25% chance of getting in. Because these will generally be the most prestigious schools on your list, it's only natural to get excited about them. But while there are probably tons of attractive reach schools out there, we would recommend only applying to 2 to 4 of them. You can apply to more, but it's important not to overdo it. In many cases, it would be more productive to spend this extra time applying to additional target schools instead. There is an exception though. If you think you'll need lots of financial aid to afford college, highly selective colleges are typically the most generous. Many of them will even cover the full cost of your education if your family can't afford to pay for it otherwise. In these situations, it can make sense to have a school list comprised mostly of reaches and safeties, since these are likely the schools that will offer you the largest scholarships. So, there you have your school list. We recommend applying to between 8 and 12 schools and not applying to more than 15. While you could always do more, doing so takes time and energy. It's important to make sure that you're not sacrificing the quality of your essays or skimping on your schoolwork in order to throw together dozens of applications. I also wouldn't recommend applying to fewer than 8 schools unless you already know you're getting in somewhere. If you have a guaranteed acceptance at a school, like UT Austin, or if you're a recruited athlete and have been promised a spot, then it's alright to do fewer applications. But for everyone else, the 8 to 12 numbers is a good guideline. Safety should make up at least 25% of your school list. The other 75% should include a mix of reaches and targets. As a final reminder, your chance of acceptance is not the same as the school's acceptance rate. Your individual chancing can only be determined by considering your specific profile, including your test scores, GPA, essays, extracurriculars, and more. Extremely selective schools like Harvard and Princeton should be considered reaches for everyone, no matter how strong your profile is. If you're not sure where to go from here, check out our school list builder and our chancing engine on collegevine.com for free. You can add schools in a spreadsheet form, see all sorts of statistics, including acceptance rates and demographics, and even add your own custom categories to sort them. You can also see your personalized chances of acceptance at more than 1,000 schools, as well as your estimated costs of attendance. You can also check out our blog, community forums, live streams, and more, all for free when you make an account on collegevine.com. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of our upcoming content. Best of luck, and see you again next time.